My name is Egan Orion. I'm the executive director of Pride Fest.
Hi, my name is Marina Gray, and I am a community advocate in Seattle in the Capitol Hill and Central area. And I specifically focus on advocacy for students and families in Seattle public schools, as well as folks with disabilities.
I'm Tamara Murphy. I'm co-founder of Terra, Plata, chef, and with my partner, Linda.
I'm Linda Lello Morton, and we founded the Food is Love Project.
I had a kernel of an idea right as the pandemic was hitting in mid-March 2020. And I remember I put it out as a Facebook post, and I was just like, what if we helped small businesses by putting them to work and then we fed hungry people?
In March, we had a little press conference on a rooftop at Terra Plata with Egan. He launched this press conference talking about what was going on, the pandemic, restaurants suffering, and it just started that way. And we literally started feeding people.
I think it was like March 21st.
Yeah.
And the shutdowns that all began right in like middle of March. So just a week into this whole thing.
When Egan and Linda brought it to me, I was already involved with the Lowell Elementary School, which is in the center of Capitol Hill and is a high poverty school with a high amount of homelessness and transitional students and families that need additional support. And I've been working with that community. And when the pandemic shutdown was happening, those families that would previously get meals at the school were in even more food insecure position. So it was a great opportunity to be able to give back to those families and make sure that they had what they need during all this uncertain time in the pandemic.
It was our pivot. Like everyone talks about pivoting during the pandemic, and all of a sudden, the restaurant was empty and Egan and Marina were showing up along with volunteers 3 times a week. Tamara was cooking and we were making food for families.
The whole idea was that we were just going to be a bridge between like this really acute crisis and whatever came next. So we were thinking, it's going to be a few months. We just want to be able to help families that are struggling and businesses that are struggling. Then we got to the end of 2020 and it continues. We got to mid-2021, it still continues. We had to adapt in time with what we were doing with the Food is Love project. It wasn't the same as it was in the beginning.
It was just a natural thing that when they talked to me about it, I was definitely not sure what I was going to do with my days, except we were here and I wasn't sure what to do with my staff. And it made such perfect sense because I was immediately able to bring in a few people and we were going to do what we absolutely love to do, and that is to feed people. It really gave me a sense of purpose and it gave me focus. And because the best thing you can do when you're hurting is to help somebody else. It got me through some of the hardest period of my life. So I will forever be grateful for the opportunity. And feeding the encampments and feeding these kids absolutely fed my soul.
Throughout the entire time that we did the Food is Love project, we served 35 to 40,000 meals. We sort of lost track after a while.
Of course, we got other restaurants involved. Solare, Ian's Pizza, Marjorie.
Din Tai Fung, Star Fusion and Bar on Broadway.
Rancho Bravo.
Pagliacci.
That was part of the concept, was to keep restaurants open, keep their team employed and working as much as possible with the pandemic, of course. We were taking meals to the most vulnerable families' doorstep.
First of all, just on the drivers themselves, we thank them profusely every single week. And I remember we had one driver that said, "You don't have to thank me." Like, this is something that is so essential to my week. I look forward to it every week because everything else is chaotic, but this is me actually being able to give to someone else and not be stuck on my own mind about this freaking, pandemic.
One of the moments that really spoke to me during the Food is Love project is there was a day we had just finished packing, and sometimes they would miss the families. But this woman came in with a couple of kids in the stroller, and she said, "Hi, I'm one of the people that Food is Love feeds, and we weren't home to accept our package. And I came here today because I know that you're cooking today and I really enjoy your food, and I was hoping that I could pick up my package for my husband and my children.
One of the things that was most impactful to me about this whole program is not only the connection that we had within the team that was showing up every week, multiple times a week to serve our families, and the relationships that deepened. Linda and Egan and Tamara will forever be in my lives going forward. But the relationships that were deepened and established within the school communities. Our staff were bonded to their families more deeply when they were able to go serve them at their homes. Our drivers had a connection to all of the families in the community and felt like and when we were all so disconnected from the pandemic, we're all by ourselves in our homes. Now we're able to go out and have these deeper connections with people at a time when we're so desperate for them.
I don't know how we would have gotten I don't know how we would have gotten through, especially the first year of the pandemic, without the Food is Love Project. It literally was meant to be, and I don't know how we would have survived.
One of the things that I learned through the pandemic is that there's a lot we can do with just a little bit of effort. You don't have to join some big fancy organization to help your fellow neighbor.
When we look at the world globally and we think about how am I going to make a difference, small things like leaning into your community give you a deeper sense of agency and purpose. And when we give back, we get 10-fold or 100-fold back. Each time I do a project in community to give back, I end up more nourished than the people that I'm serving.
At the beginning of the pandemic, a lot of businesses, I think the first inclination was just to go into their shells, right? And protect themselves. And I think that Terra, Plata, and the other businesses that were involved with the Food is Love Project, I think they all learned a really important lesson, which is it's always about community. Always. Being community minded, whether it's through giving or engagement, whatever it looks like, community is good business. And maybe it's the only kind of business.